This week on the Retirement Quick Tips podcast, I'm talking about the all too common problem of being too frugal and underspending in your retirement years, which translates to robbing you of a fulfilling retirement and living the life that you've worked so hard to save and grow your wealth for over decades and then not enjoying it. It's such a shame, and we want to take steps to find a better balance with spending while preserving financial security. So today I want to talk about my top tips, best ideas to start enjoying your nest egg more and to get in that right frame of mind, even if you're not yet retired, but you know that this is going to be a problem for you, that you're likely to overspend and be too frugal in retirement. Take notes, because this is what I find that works in the real world with my own clients. One of the important things to understand and to help you to not feel guilty about spending money in retirement is the concept of the retirement spending smile. If you think about your spending patterns in retirement as a smile, so it starts up high in the corner and then it bottoms out and then it goes up high again. That's the pattern of spending. So spending is higher in the early years, then it kind of dips in the middle, and then it rises again, especially if you have healthcare needs or you need some type of assisted living or you develop cognitive decline, dementia. That is an important way to think that your spending in retirement is not necessarily and often not going to be linear. It's not going to start at X and go up every year and end up there at Y. Like everything else in life, it ebbs and flows. So this isn't true for everybody. So you need to really reflect on what you intend to do and how you intend to spend your retirement years. And if that path is going to be more like a retirement spending smile, which we need to plan for unexpected or likely even health-related expenses at the end of retirement. So we need to preserve enough money to last through retirement, including some of those unexpected curveballs, while also recognizing that when you're healthy and more active in the early part of retirement, that you're likely to spend a little bit more on travel, on living that more active lifestyle. And that will often taper off as you get a little bit older and maybe start to develop some health problems, a bit more aches and pains. It no longer sounds appealing to get on a 12-hour flight to Europe. Now, one of the caveats to this retirement spending smile that I find it important to mention is that a lot of people will spend more in the early years of retirement and then they keep that spending high. Many people resist lowering their portfolio withdrawals. So you're taking a certain amount of income out of your investment portfolio. Very rarely does someone call me and say, okay, Ashley, I was taking out X a month from my investments. I want to reduce that down to Y. It just doesn't happen very often. So a lot of people, because they resist, they don't want to downshift. And even if they're not necessarily spending that money, they're using it to pad their bank account, which is not good either. So there are some struggles to this retirement spending smile pattern. No one wants to go backwards. No one wants to take out less because, again, they're a little bit fearful. They'll often find new ways to spend money coming in. So know thyself. Are you going to be willing to reduce your spending, and for how long before health issues really cause your spending to increase again? So let's move on to some of the strategies that I think are most effective for enjoying your nest egg more without jeopardizing your financial security in retirement. Number one, I've talked about this throughout the week. Avoid default or thoughtless spending that adds zero value. Yes, there are things we have to spend money on. You have to pay your taxes unless you want to go to jail. But like discretionary things, not necessities. Are you spending money on things and it's adding no value, but you're not even like thinking about how that brings you fulfillment and joy or lack thereof? Another way to get over the too frugal retirement has a lot to do with withdrawals. So there's a couple of strategies I'm going to talk about with withdrawing money from your portfolio, because you have income sources in retirement, and research shows that people who have guaranteed income sources like Social Security, pension income, they don't feel guilty about spending money. But if you don't have a big pension and you need to take withdrawals from your investment portfolio to supplement your Social Security, which most of you will, you tend to underspend because there's that uncertainty about the future. I don't know how much I'll be able to take out every year and not run out of money. There's no guaranteed way to figure that out. And so a lot of people underspend. So here's my suggestion for that. Start with a smaller withdrawal rate. I think 3% is good. And even if you only stick with that for like the first 6 to 12 months of retirement, that helps you to rip the Band-Aid off and it helps ease that transition into spending in retirement because a 3% withdrawal rate on your investment portfolio for most of you who have a somewhat diversified and well-built portfolio, it is not a risky withdrawal rate. It is a very safe withdrawal rate. Start with a small, safe withdrawal rate, and then you can increase that over time. That's the easing into the transition into retirement. And you can constantly tell yourself, like, hey, 3%, it's safe. I don't need to worry about taking that amount of money out over my retirement years. Another one is to build those active, higher spending years into your bigger retirement plan. I do this with clients all the time. We basically talk about what is their spending going to look like in retirement? What are the things that they want to do? What are some of the big expenses that they know they're going to need? Like travel in the early years of retirement. We usually have a bigger budget for that. Buy a new car, do some home updates. We're building all of that into their retirement plan. And that way, it's already part of your cash flow, your spending budget, your projections that you're using to plan for your retirement. Another strategy is to try to get the biggest ticket items out of the way before retirement. So if you know you're going to need a new car, a new roof, these are going to be much easier for you to pay for while you're still working. You have a paycheck coming in, a lot less painful compared to a larger withdrawal on your investments. It may also be taxable when you withdraw that from your assets rather than the tax burden. I mean, you're still taxed on your income, but you don't have the additional tax then of taxes from capital gains or withdrawal from your IRA or 401k on top of that. Another one is for discretionary withdrawals. Make the bigger withdrawals in years where you have strong gains. So if you're coming off of a year where, you made 12% last year, that was a big year, you can take off some of the cream off the top there and spend a little bit more in that strong market year. It is important to have flexibility. If you can maintain those flexible withdrawals, you can maintain cash for emergencies. You can also reduce your withdrawals or pause your withdrawals in years of bad markets and a recession and a downturn to only take out more in the good years and reduce or stop your withdrawals completely in the bad years. That's going to help you sustain your nest egg. And then, as I mentioned, research shows that retirees with income guarantees like pensions, they spend more freely in retirement. So if you don't have a big pension, you need to use your portfolio for withdrawals. One specific method that works really well is turning your portfolio into a quote guaranteed income stream and thinking of it that way. And how you do this is you only take out the income from your investments that is generated from interest from bonds or fixed income that you own and dividends from stocks that you own. It's very easy to project over the next 12 months, what is the income that my portfolio is producing? This is totally independent of any growth that you might have. It's just dividend and interest income. What is that total number? Divide that by 12, and that's your monthly income stream from your investments. That way, you're not dipping into principal. You're not having to sell off investments. And I like this a lot. Like if I was retired today, this is exactly what I would do. I would invest with a focus on generating income and growth and making sure that my portfolio is yielding some income that I can then withdraw. And then if I need a little bit of extra, make sure my budget is sustainable for that. That'll provide me with about 3% of my portfolio value just as income. Then on top of that, knowing that I have some wiggle room, I can take out a little bit more if I need to, if I have an emergency, if I want to take a big trip. I'm not maxing out my withdrawals, even coming close to that. And so if I pay my property taxes, whatever, I have another percent or two. I can go up to 4 or 5% in a given year. And again, maintaining that flexibility. If I need to, I could go up a little bit higher, take a little bit more. And then that way I can have a sustainable withdrawal rate. I have this license to spend. I shouldn't feel guilty about the withdrawals because again, for my monthly needs, I'm just taking the income. So if you prioritize those income generating investments, when it's done right, it works great. And those are my top tips. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Ashley Michike, and this is the Retirement Quick Tips Podcast.